this. It's like Casey and Raph. And it makes me just a little wistful because I wish it was maybe, I don't know, April.
She never ages. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and I'm running out of things to say at the first of these. It's more toys, and there's only so many ways I can say that. Boy, it's a crazy week, and there's so much to talk about, so many pictures, and so many solicitations, and companies are just going crazy, and San Diego's supposed to be coming up, but it's not coming up now, so they're just throwing everything out there. That's the gist of it, right? I mean, could be worse. Could be nothing to talk about. So, as you saw in the intro, Judith Hogue did a NECA unboxing, and among the goodies was the upcoming Walmart exclusive 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Casey Jones and Raph in Disguise. That's it. Nothing new. Just seeing more boxed shots and samples of this set. But you know what that means, right? The looming terror of trying to find these at an actual Walmart store. Plus, it was neat to see that she actually knew that the standard Turtles had already been out, and the Casey set was something new. I mean, sometimes you see celebrities doing something like this, and they're just kind of like, oh, a neat figurine of... She actually had some knowledge on the product. That's cool. Now, like she said, we need an April figure, and she needs to talk to Elias about letting NECA use his likeness. A week ago, Lim Toys posted that their factories were back up and running, and announced that they're not Snake. Don't call him Snake. Please don't go on socials and say Snake. This is Ahab. They announced that their Ahab would be shipping here in the next few weeks. They said it was at the packaging stage, and this week they posted pictures of that packaging. And you know what I always say about packaging? Oh, closer to my grubby hands. Last week we saw initial promotional images for Bandai America's Anime Heroes Series 2 My Hero Academia figures, which was nothing new. We'd seen All Might and Bakugo and Midoriya hit overseas over the past few months, but this week we're treated to more pretty promotional pictures. We just see the figures from different angles, different poses. They took All Might and actually closed up all the gappiness in the shoulders and hips. Still bubbly, but not as bad as I first thought. Bakugo, looking all Bakugo-ish. It's very hard to screw him up. You just put the big grenades, he's got some orange flares, go. And for those of you who caught me calling Deku's costume the shoot-style gear, thank you for not going into the comments section and just going, "Ha ha, you idiot! That's clearly the beta costume." I screwed up. I looked too quick. And with all the companies making different costumes, well, actually, this costume, did McFarlane make this one? One of the others. But it's Midoriya. It's Deku. All in all, though, if you're looking for some budget My Hero figures, this may be the way to go. They don't look bad, especially for the price. I don't know. I think I'll stick to either customizing my kit bashing the McFarlanes and the Van Presto stuff, or the imports. But I'll probably end up with these two, just to see if I can take All Might's head and put it on the McFarlane figure. Speaking of McFarlane, though, and other fandoms that think I'm a dumbass, they solicited their Warhammer 40,000 series this week. Disclaimer, in case you couldn't guess, I know nothing about Warhammer. I just like good-looking toys. And I'm only really familiar with the Primaris Intercessor here because of the Bandai figure. I've got to mess with that, and oh, here's this design. Oh, that looks like the design too. This unpainted version, though, where you can do whatever the hell you want with it, it is a Games Workshop and specialty store exclusive. I don't know what that actually means. I don't have a Games Workshop around here, but surely you can get online and order it, even though I haven't seen it up for pre-order anywhere yet. There's also the Assault Intercessor with different paint job, some logos, and some armor plates, along with the Necron Warrior, who looks to be a formidable adversary to the Marines. I'm sure some of those words don't fit quite right together, but I am now schooled enough to know that no, that is not a jetpack, and you are never supposed to remove it from the armor. Yeah, even if it comes in the package separated, that's bad. No. And that's not a gun, that is a bolter, you ignorant fuck. Although I already see heretics looking at the Necron Warrior and going, Metallo? Ooh. The Necron Warrior and the Assault Intercessor are up for pre-order on Walmart.com right now. I'm not sure if it's exclusive to Walmart, but on McFarlane's product pages, they list it as available at Walmart. They don't have anything else listed, so Who knows? Also on McFarlane's site, they list it as $19.99, but you go to Walmart and it's $24.99. If you missed out on the Bandai version, this looks like a great affordable alternative. I mean, $20? $100. $20? $100. 20, 100, and these should hit in September. Debuted at the Miyazawa Model Show in 2018, and then teased again in April of 2019, the Blitzway Inspector Gadget then disappeared, only to reappear this week as full-on pre-orders. They're like, here's the solicitations, here's the pretty promotional pictures, order yours. Nothing has really changed since those initial teases, including the fact that Gadget is the only action figure, while Penny and Brain and Quimby are all statues with swappable parts. And there are a lot of parts here. For Quimby, there's alternate arms with trash can and base, and then Penny and Brain sets has a disguise for Brain, while Penny gets swappable faces and arms and accessories. Gadget gets, well, all of this. Lots and lots of stuff. Extensions, skates, hands, faces, umbrella, more stuff, this stuff, that stuff. But all that stuff doesn't come cheap. Quimby is $50, Penny and Brain are in a set together for $70, and then Inspector Gadget is $90. But there is a deluxe set that includes all the characters, all their accessories, plus some base dressings, some word balloons, and if you're early enough, a third face for Gadget. All for $180. That's a savings of carry the knot, account for gravity, solve for X, $30. I think $30, somewhere in there. Still expensive, but a better deal is a better deal. I think they know that Gadget is the big draw here, being an action figure, and if you want some of the other stuff, they're saying, here, take it all. Take it all. These should release in December. I think we saw the Storm Collectibles Samurai Showdown Howamaru back at Toy Fair, but this week we got a tease, which meant, you know, here come the pre-orders, and then just this morning, that's what happened. Pre-orders went up. I did play a little Samurai Showdown back in the day, in between deliveries out in the dining room of Pizza Hut, but other than that, I think Hanzo was my guy, not Howamaru. Alternate heads, and I'm surprised that the hair pieces, at least the parts that stick off, aren't swappable. That's a lot of plastic between those two heads. And that's along with a sword and a swap effect and the jug on the hip. $85 should come out sometime at the end of this year. Also from Storm Collectibles that I missed last week, here's the Streets of Rage 4 Axel Stone. Streets of Rage is a video game, and this is a character from that video game who does video game top fighting and stances and combos. Yep, I'm a Streets of Rage expert. Comes with a knife, a bottle, and a broken bottle, bat, boomerang, and bladed staff. You know, all the good weapons that start with B. That's also along with 3 heads. Normal, angry, and which is totally a Streets of Rage battle cry, right? $90 releases in September. Mezco continues their spring/summer solicitation spree with the reveal of their 1/12 collective Wonder Woman. More of an armored up, weapon-laden battle version, this Diana is ready for war. Comes with a spear, sword, shield, battle axe, ricochet effects that magnetically attach to her bracers, a wired cape, neck and shoulder armor with many hands, opposable lasso, which we don't see enough whenever we get Wonder Woman figures. We need more like this, where you wrap it around. Along with a cooled version to hang from her belt and 2 heads. Stern and angry. Now I know she's always ready for a scrap, but would it kill a company to throw in a smiling head every now and then? I mean, just to change things up a bit. $85 should release at the start of next year. The next figure in the Figma Table series is the Terracotta Army. When I first saw the pics, without even reading the Figma title, I thought, ooh, that's an interesting looking statue. But nope, we got an action figure here. But then I thought, ooh, action figure, look how good it looks kneeling down. And then I realized, or well, I read that those are swappable parts to get it to kneel. Either way, it looks good doing that. To sweeten the pot though, there is a sword, there's a crossbow, and 3 alternate faces, so you can army build these guys and make different versions throughout your little army. $60 ships in May of 2021. If you had told me back in the 90s when I started this crazy hobby that in the future we would pre-order things that we wouldn't even be able to hold in our hands for a year, I would have said, oh, you're crazy. Then I'd ask you how pre-orders work, and what the hell is the internet? The magazine scans for the Medicom, MAFEX, Avengers, Endgame, Captain America, and X-Men Gambit last week were awesome, but even better, we got pre-orders straight after that. I mean, just look at this majestic looking Captain America right here. The proportions, the sculpting, the paint, oh, so good. But I'm starting to think that Chris Evans has one of those hard to translate faces, much like Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford, or their likenesses are so burned into our brains because we've seen them so much that we can pick out every little imperfection and misstep when they're scaled down to action figure form. But mine will be sporting the helmet anyway, so not a bad thing. He'll also be rocking that shield and that spinning Mjolnir effect. I had to get it onto screen to make sure you saw that this is how it works. But if you don't care for those, he also comes with a broken shield and then a hammer with an electric effect that you can take on and off. Take on. And then there's even an effect part to make it look like he's throwing the shield. For Gambit, the bigger, nicer promotional images makes the coat look less furry and fuzzy, but it still looks thick and bulky. It's almost swallowing him up. But that's essentially the only negative I see with this figure. The heads are amazing, especially the hair. Oh, so 90s. And the card charging and throwing effects aren't too shabby either. I mean, the staff even comes with energy effects for both ends. Medicom being Medicom though, the last few releases have had their problems, so I'm leery to call these perfect. But at the same time, Medicom's always had their speed bumps, so I mean, it's just par for the course here. Cap is $72, Gambit is about $80, and they tell us March of 2021, but I'm betting more like May or June. And then I somehow missed the solicitation for the Medicom MAFEX 1992 Team USA Michael Jordan, and y'all didn't want to miss out on me stumbling through another session of Robo Don't Know, right? I never watched sports. I have never watched sports. I know that's basketball, and that's Michael Jordan, but I don't know the significance of the shoes, and I actually had to look up where this uniform was from. I know, I'm that guy. Saying all that, the likeness does look off, and we haven't actually seen a release of a MAFEX figure in full cloth clothing like this, so we don't know where it's going with it. This is the second Michael Jordan solicited, and we haven't even gotten the first one yet. So we don't know the quality of their little bitty clothes yet. It seems like cloth clothing ups the price a bit though, Michael Jordan here being $90, and he should release April 2021. This is where I was going to ponder the whereabouts of my much anticipated Maifix Mandalorian, who had magazine scans before Michael Jordan, before Gambit, before Cap, but then just disappeared. Then earlier this week, Medicom posted their product page on their site, only to take it back down really quick. I didn't even see the page, I just saw the pictures shared on social media. I had all kinds of theories about why it went up and why it went back down. Maybe they're tweaking some stuff. Don't know. But then just this morning, they put the product page back up and pre-orders have started to trickle out. Isn't it odd that it's the day after Hasbro solicited their Beskar Mandalorian though? But the solicitation pictures don't really tell us anything we didn't already know. Mando, cloth cape, rifle, pistol, knife, firing cable gauntlet, flame effect, and the child as an accessory. It doesn't seem like the child has any articulation, but like I said, accessory. You're not paying half price of a full-on action figure for a tiny little child action figure. Still no Mudhorn sigil or jetpack, but Medicom doing what Medicom does, I wouldn't be surprised to see those accessories in a future release of a different character from The Mandalorian, even though their Star Wars releases have been sparse over the past few years, so I'm not expecting it, but if it does happen, it wouldn't surprise me. Really though, the clean pictures show just how proportionate this Mandalorian is, and if it's anything like the MAFEX Boba Fett's, ooh. $75 may or may not come out in December. Wait a second, that's months before Michael Jordan and Captain America and Gambit are supposed to release. Several weeks ago, Tamashii debuted their cinema site where there were teases for a DC, a Star Wars, and a Marvel Figuarts. And then the site gave us glimpses of the 1984 Wonder Woman, IG-11 from The Mandalorian, and this week we get Iron Man Mark 1. And then yesterday we got full-on reveals for all three. With a crazy amount of pictures for each, this new cinema site is apparently going to go full bore with this. Wonder Woman seems pretty close to her previous releases in the Figuarts line, but the body, or well, at least the paints on it, seem to be brighter, which is not a bad thing at all. The head does seem way more accurate though. This may be the one to tempt me. I've been skipping a lot of Figuarts, but this one's reeling me back in, at least towards the DC side. I say as I just reviewed Harley Quinn this week. I'm so full of shit. She seems a little lean on accessories though, coming only with a posable lasso, which we just talked about. I wish more companies would give us that. Oh, they're doing it. And then a coiled lasso to go on our belt. Iron Man Mark 1 though is looking fantastic. It's almost like a figure made of spare parts. The paint, the little details for an armor that didn't last very long, a lot of love was put in here. Options at the head where it looks like Stark is actually in the armor, or You can have it empty if you want to display it in a hall of armor or something like that. Along with some fire blasting effects from the arms and then a rocket boost out of the feet, you know, for that one and only time that this damn thing flew. Lining them all up together though, it surprises me how big this armor is. I know the Figuarts Iron Man armors are like true 1/12 scale, so they seem a little bit small against other companies, but just like Wonder Woman, this may drag me back. I've been skipping a lot of Figuarts Iron Mans. This may be necessary. But I'll put in pre-orders for both of those after I get my hands on this IG-11. Man, this thing is beautiful next to the Figuarts Mandalorian. The sculpt, the presence, the patina, it looks like we're finally getting an adequate IG unit for the shelf. And it also seems to be surprisingly mobile, and Bandai wanted to make sure we knew that, posting several pictures with diagrams and arrows showing where the articulation points are and how they move, and yeah, that's amazing. 2 swivels at the head and the neck joints forward and back. You have shoulders, you have elbows, you probably have wrists. There's a mid-torso joint, hips, knees, ankles. This is what we wanted. And they don't just point it out, they also show it in this kick-ass family portrait style picture here of IG actually sitting down. And then this morning, for the imminent release of their first version of Mandalorian, they posted review pictures on the cinema site, and one included this picture with IG-11, making it look huge. It's weird. In the original solicitation pictures, Mandalorian seems bigger next to IG-11, but in this picture, he's below the shoulder. What is going on here? But at the same time, our Black Series IG unit is too small. If this is too big, I can fudge that. I can almost bet that the Figuarts Mandalorian is going to be a little bit small, so compared to that, IG-11 in the overall display, okay, I'm ready. It even comes with a swappable chest piece to show off his self-destruct capabilities. Wonder Woman is a standard release, will go up on all the usual pre-order shops next Monday. Iron Man is a little bit more tricky. They call it a Soul Web exclusive, but it is available to the US through the Bandai US site. And we're also seeing Bluefin promote it too, so it'll probably be distributed domestically through them. IG-11 though is a straight up Soul Web exclusive, only available overseas. I guess the stranglehold on Star Wars figures in this scale is a little bit tighter than Marvel. So you're gonna have to go through third party, pay up front, that kind of thing. But as you can see, I'm always excited about Star Wars releases, so Hasbro was bowling right up my alley this weekend. Is that a saying? Bowling up my alley? Lots of pre-orders went up, and while we had already seen Wave 26 through various reveals over the past few months, there was something new to see here. Admiral Ackbar, a much needed character for the shelf, while Tebow will be our first, but hopefully not last, Ewok in the display. From Empire Strikes Back, we get Darth Vader, who seems to be the 40th figure with some small tweaks here and there, and then Snowspeeder Luke, who we just saw in the vintage carded retro wave. But that's okay, I needed a second one to put a wedge head on to give me more Hoth pilots. It all works out. From Clone Wars comes the Kamino Clone Trooper, and then from the Mandalorian, there is Mandalorian and Beskar armor with the Mudhorn sigil, with the jetpack. I'm going to need a cloth cape for that so I can display it with the jetpack. And then an all-new sculpted Stormtrooper from Mandalorian. All awesome, all going on my shelves, but the big reveal here is new packaging for the Black Series line. And oh man, I'm not a packaging kind of guy. I mean, I look at it during reviews and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But this is eye-catching. The different colors for the various movies and shows makes it feel more unique. And then the character art moving around to the side and then forming an overall mural type picture when you put them all together, that's kind of genius. That makes a guy like me who tosses the packaging as soon as it's off the figure, unless it's vintage retro packaging. I'm sitting here thinking I need to at least slice the sides off and then figure out a way to display that or something. And will future releases from within those same shows and movies carry on the picture? I mean, if we do get another Return of the Jedi character next year, will it be, well, I'm sure it'll be green, but will it fit up against Tebow or something? Yeah. It's kind of exciting. Don't get me wrong, I want the figures. That's my main want, but here's packaging catching my eye. The world's going crazy. $20 each with a scheduled release date of September. But that's not all. The heavily rumored re-releases of Rebels characters became a reality this week. Ezra and Chopper were harder to find when they were in stores, so it's good to see a re-release of them for people who missed out, because that wave seemed to be, oh, here it is, oh, gone. But really, those are the only 2 straight up re-releases in this line. The other characters like Ahsoka and Sabine and Hera and Kanan, they are re-releases. We've seen them in the line before, but they've been tweaked to have photoreal in the face. Ezra was originally released with photoreal, so not a lot of change there. These guys had the old paint apps on the face. And yes, these are animated characters, so it seemed fitting, but at the same time, they kind of stand out against the rest of your display. Plus, they look badass! I mean, Ahsoka may be a little bit shiny in the face, which we see with photoreal sometimes, but it's hard to deny that these are not improvements to all 4 characters. And I think they've even went as far as to darken up some of the colors on the clothes. It's most evident on Hera's jumpsuit, where it's just a little bit darker. It's no longer cartoony colors. But most of all, we finally have Zeb. We finally complete the main Rebels crew, and I couldn't be happier. Man, Zeb looks awesome! They did a good job of striking a balance between realistic and cartoony, but we also don't have a live-action version to reference. Part of me thinks he should show a little bit more emotion, but I'm also good with the look of, this kid's gonna get us killed someday. On top of all that, the Rebels get the same packaging treatment as Wave 26, except in purple. And this is a better example with more figures lined up to form an overall picture. That's just... damn it, that looks cool. These are fan channel exclusive and sold separately, so if you're good with your Ezra and Chopper, you don't have to buy a case or an overall set. You can skip them if you don't want them, or if you're good with the original releases and just want to pick and choose, that's cool too. That's just a nifty way to do re-releases like this. $20 a piece except for Zeb, who is $30, and these should also release in September. And that's it for this week. Oh, so much Star Wars. Always makes me happy. If you want to see any of these pictures closer up or in more detail, like the Black Series, there is a ton of pictures for those new releases. All of that will be posted on the Fwoosh front page tomorrow at noon. If you enjoyed this Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel. Patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on Fwoosh. Oh, I forgot to mention that I got the payment request for my Medicom MAFEX Avengers Infinity War Thor. I don't know why I'm pointing. There's no picture over there. I'm just used to doing that. So that should be next week. Oh, MAFEX.